So what's the deal with Asians? Really, what's the deal with Asians? I honestly, I can't tell the difference. Chinese, Japanese, look at these. They all look the same to me. I'm walking down the street. They think I look like them. They start talking to me in Korean. Annyeonghaseyo, 감사합니다. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. We're in Japan. Domo arigato, konnichiwa. Like, I don't know what you're saying. Chinese, hong ding dong dong dong. Look, I know I'm Asian, but I'm American. I know how to talk American. I know how to talk Thai, but I don't know what's the deal with Asians. So here recently, I just had a newborn son. He's 4 months old. He's handsome. He's beautiful. He looks nothing like me. He looks like a white boy. So, not saying my wife did anything she shouldn't have, but it does make me a little suspicious. But as when I'm walking down the grocery aisle and I see parents with their kids and it's a little kid and little kid's all smiling and happy. I look at the little kid and I start smiling and waving at him and hey, how you doing? And the parents start looking at me. I'm like, hey, I have little kids too. Okay, it's not that kind of. Hey, buddy, everything's gonna be just fine. Well, you guys have been great. Praise Jesus Christ. I'm Derek. Love it. Have a good night.
Man, that was pretty good, man. Why'd you say you're Derek Lovett? You being funny?
Yes, that's what I want to go first.
That was good, man. Yeah, especially that your first time you would say you've done stand up,
That's
so to
of
speak.
course. Yes.
Of course. That was good, man. That was good. Your timing was good. Your timing was good. So you practiced that a little bit.
I had the intro, the outro, and some pieces in between.
That's good. That's what's up, man. I'm gonna try to do a little something here. Let's see. Try to do a little something. So let's rock and roll. Hey everybody, how are y'all tonight? This morning it's 6 a.m. in the morning. Sure, it's hard for some of y'all to get up, but look, my name is Derek. I'm almost 40 years old. I've been married for almost 10 years, and I've got 3 girls, 4, 6, and 8. No need for your condolences. I appreciate my life. I'm good. I'm learning right now. So marriage and family have taught me a lot. For instance, it's really taught me how to not have any money. So my 3 daughters right now are all in private school. Yes, all in private school. And I tried to tell my wife, try to tell her there's some good public schools out there, but my wife's not having it. So I went and I came back and I told my wife, I don't really see the big difference between public and private school. Public school, private school, our daughters bring home education and Jesus. Public school, they bring home education and Jesse. I mean, is Jesse really that bad? Isn't Jesse worth $2,000 in our pocket every week? I think so. Besides, they can get Jesus for free later. But, you learn in marriage, you learn your spouse, right? And you go and people can look at your marriage outside but inside, y'all work things out. So I know with my wife, I'm just not gonna win an argument. And I've accepted that. We go for ice cream, me, my wife, and the girls every week. We have what we call Sweets Day. We tend to go to this place on Mondays and Fridays, occasionally Wednesdays, sometimes Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays. I like ice cream. And well, anyway, this one particular day, my wife was driving, so she drives into the window, but she's on her phone. So the young lady starts talking to us, and my wife doesn't hear what she's saying. And so when my wife finally responds, my wife responds as if the lady didn't hear her correctly. And so I'm just, interjecting, and I clarify. I'm like, well, actually what she means is, and I just see my wife pause. And so, I continue with the order and we pull off. And I notice my wife, when we pull off, she's just giving me this silent treatment. So I'm like, what's wrong, babe? She's just like, what was that? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, what the two of you had. And I'm just like, oh, well, you were on the phone, you didn't hear what she said, whatever. And I was just trying to help with the order, clarify the order. And my wife was just mad at me for the rest of the night. She thought that me and this girl apparently had been coming up with something to make her feel a certain kind of way. So anyway, these are things that I deal with, and I'm okay dealing with those things because I'm learning. I'm learning about women. I'm learning about kids. One of the things I've learned about women is for instance, my mother, love my mom. My mom, I'm sure she was a lot different as a wife than she was as a mother. So, for instance, my mom never had a problem with me hand making a card for her birthday. Matter of fact, she didn't even have a problem with me using money from her purse to buy the materials to do so. Apparently, my wife has a problem with that. But apparently there's some minimum price that I have to spend on birthdays and holidays. So my wife has taught me it's not the thought that counts. So anyway, I decided one year to go ahead and give my wife what she wanted. I knew it was jewelry, so I had the jewelry, bought her a nice card, gave her a nice message, and at the end, I told her, there's more where this comes from. Just consider public school. She didn't like that either. Thank you. That's been my time. Appreciate it.
That's good. I like that, man. That was good, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Thank you. That was me. I put that together yesterday.
That's
And
good, man.
Yeah. So it was all right. I know when I was doing it, there was a couple things that
It didn't quite flow. Like, did
yeah,
you now did you mean to on the ice cream piece talk about, well, I like ice cream Wednesdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Was that intentional?
yeah, that
Well,
was
was that
intentional.
an intentional joke throwing in there? Like, you actually like ice cream more than
Yeah,
just
but what
Wednesdays?
was not
Yeah, I like that.
intentional, what was
I
not
like that.
intentional was my delivery of the
Uh,
funny part after that. That was just from lack of practice. Like
right.
that was supposed to be very concise. Like it was supposed to be like, yeah, so we pull off, and my wife's just like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't, what do you mean? She's like, what you two had. And anyway, I can't even remember the ending I had for it, but it was just a lot smoother, and I couldn't think of
Right.
it, and I ended up drawing it out longer
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
adding a lot of words. So that's
Right.
the kind of stuff that happens when you don't practice it
Right.
like you should. But yeah, man, that's part
That
of
was
it.
fun, wasn't it?
That was fun. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that, man. Thank you, man. You actually surprisingly, this is something, it's like a surprising blessing in it, because I actually would you got me thinking, like I would like to do something like this on a weekly basis.
I
I
would
could do
too.
something like this.
Because see, the thing about it is it's quick, it's short, and what you can do is you can like we just did just then, where the only thing that's bugging me is the camera angle. I feel like I'm looking up at you while you're talking. So,
Now, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm used to like more looking like down the barrel at. Yeah, there we go. That's what I like. That's how I like it, baby. Straight down the pipe. But no, see, I can do this. I'd love to do this, you know? And then if you ever feel like you want to just talk about stuff, we can. But I like this. This is fun.
That
you know?
was fun, man. I mean, and honestly, here's the irony. A few years ago, I thought about doing 5-minute sets like this on a weekly basis. And that kind of, in the midst of life and family, that kind of
Kind of
just
fell away.
faded
Well,
away.
well, also too, you didn't really have me like involved in it with you.
What
You
what
see?
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. And that makes the difference because that's
Yeah,
accountability, that's support, that's encouragement.
that's
So
right.
even though I had the idea, I didn't have anybody help. Because keep in mind, this is a few years ago, and you've talked to me about doing this, and my brain still wasn't there. It was more so like, okay, James want to do this 20th episode. All right, and even still, I didn't even get to prepare anything because been doing other stuff, but I finally said it was the fact that we set a deadline, and I told you when you
Yes,
texted me a
yes.
couple weeks ago, I said we're gonna do it today.
Do
I
it
said, how
on
does this date
yes
sound?
the 20th.
Once I lock that in, I said that's when I'm gonna do it, regardless. And
Yep.
so, that helped. But I say all that to say, I still did not think about what my idea was 3 years ago until we got to this moment, and then I was
Right.
like, wow, this is what I wanted to do actually.
Yeah. See, and then that, it doesn't have to be long and drawn out. It can be because now James and James it survives on its own. See,
Yeah.
James and James for me was I don't know if I can go a long form conversation for hours, 2 hours, or whatever. But what I found after the first couple episodes with you is I caught my rhythm where I can go in a long conversation with anybody. It doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
so, I love our content together because we always bring God into it and it's always refreshing. And it's something that when somebody watches it, they'll hear if they listen to the episodes, they'll hear the difference between our content and everybody else I have on. But this is actually fun because, you know, uh it's we're doing comedy together, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So you can kind of sit back and kind of analyze kind of what I did wrong or what I did right, and then you can do your set, go back, watch the episode, and like kind of analyze it on your own and critique it because you'll have a direct replay versus
Right.
like when you were doing comedy at performing somewhere, there's nobody taping you. So
Right.
you
Right.
you can't go back and kind of critique it if you want to. So whereas this, you can actually kind of say,
Right.
okay, where the cadence here was pretty good, the delivery, I wanted to deliver it right
Yeah, it's kind
here.
of like this is you know how
It's like a
pretty much
workshop.
most comedians before they take their stuff on tour, they go try it out somewhere, little club, whatever, see what's fun, what came across
Yep.
as funny, what
Yep.
came across as
Yep.
and so this is kind of like this could
It's
be
a
that
workshop.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is your place. Yeah, it's a safe place where you've got, you know, at least one person in there watching it, and just kind of giving you like feedback while you're doing it. And then, if you want like more like a wider audience, then you can,
So let me ask you this. I told you, because I really I do pride myself on regardless of if I have, you know, whether I spent 5 hours preparing something or I spent 2 hours, performing is performing. When you get on stage, you got to be able to deliver whatever. So, that being said, what would did you what would you give it honest and I gotta watch these sets over, so don't ask me the same question. Let me watch it over. But what would you give that on a scale of 1 to 5 in terms of the content? Mine. Not 1 to 5, 1 to 10.
I would say I'd put it around the six.
Okay.
Around the six. I would say a six because it felt like you were warming up to that point where you started really talking about marriage. Is that what your overall theme was marriage and like the ins and outs of marriage and the
No, see,
nuances
that's the
of it?
thing, because I just really put it together yesterday and I still
Uh-huh.
hadn't got the full flow. I didn't really have my theme. And see, that's the
Okay.
thing. Like when I have some time to really
Yeah.
flesh it out, I'll have my
Yeah.
theme and I'll
I
have my
like
flow.
Well, it caught me at moments because I was thinking about marriage when
Yeah.
you were like going through your set, and so that's when I was laughing. I was laughing because I was putting myself in your shoes as not just a married man, but a married man with multiple children. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
that's what caught me when I was listening to it. So
Gotcha.
this is fun, man. Isn't
That
this
was
this is
fun, man.
fun? No, with this even this part's fun. Like
It
this
is.
whole like this review of the joke and the thought process inside of the joke.
You know what's interesting is one thing our audience has always been privy to is our dissection of something, whether it's
Right,
culture,
right,
politics, current events, whatever's going on. So today it's of comedy.
right. Exactly,
you know.
exactly. And this episode it's been a long time coming. I've been hassling you about it.
Yeah.
So
I'm man, you got me excited, man.
yeah.
I'm actually excited. I'm excited for just the James and James just audience, man. I really am. I think this is really nice. I appreciate you for following through with this idea.
No, you're welcome, buddy.
So what you got on the docket today, this
Well,
Saturday?
Jill she's got her work. She started working out again, so she's got that. I think it's around 9. And then her and my mom are going to get a manicure and pedicure around noon. And the feeding of my son is about to begin here at 7, so I'm getting ready for that. So he goes 3-hour intervals. So 7, 10, 1, 4. Well, nap time's at 1, 4. So hopefully she'll be home by 4.
Oh,
So
bro,
yeah.
that's so funny. You got that was some content right there. The feeding of my son. Like I can see you making that into like a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the feeding 3 hour
Especially as
interval.
especially as he gets older too. It's just like when they're younger, it's just this little. Then now he's getting on solid food, so now you're just you
Yeah.
know yeah.
So it reminds me of kind of one thing I had come up with for the company say I decided to keep out. But I was talking about how, with me being the only male in the house, they asked me, I have to constantly be gentle, and I'm the one that's always got to run to the rescue if it's a spider or anything like that. And because of that, I have these illusions of a hyper masculine son, that one day comes along and I'm just like Spider, and he's like, Spider, and he goes and captures this poisonous spider and toys with it in his fingers, and then cracks it, and then throws it in his mouth, and just like, snack, So I don't know.
So what does that mean? You're gonna have one more kid? Is that what you're going for?
No, that was like not true. That was totally fictional. But anyway, yeah, that didn't really fit into the flow so much. But yeah, I was just thinking about something like that. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, your brain's still in comedy mode, so you're thinking like, okay, well, about putting this here,
Oh yeah.
moving that there, like,
It's nice to know that it hasn't gone anywhere.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
still in you. Yeah. Well, see, now this also goes back to your abilities as an actor and then as a preacher or pastor. See, in comedy, all it's all a part of. I'm not saying it's a part of. It's not who you are, but it's a part of who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's and these different lanes, they all flow together very easily. That's why it feels so natural for you to kind of do it, you know. And
Right.
then you have this engineering background too, where to be an engineer you have to study, so you have to understand structure and content, and so it's it's like a gumbo. You're like a gumbo of all these different like little delicious ingredients. Like you put a little bit of okra in there, a little bit of some spices, some jambalaya, some sausage, and
And
some shrimp, and then it's all. But see, here's the interesting thing about this is that it's in a crock pot. it's in a crock pot. So it's been slow cooking over time. So
Right.
now it's all kind of starting to come together. It's all starting to gel and come together.
Right, man.
So
I I
yeah,
hope you're right, man. I hope my mic was picking up at least decent. I think it was, even though it was up here, because you were able to hear me pretty clearly.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so yeah.
yeah. You're good.
But yeah, man, like you said, now it's come together, and that's how it's beautiful because it's like God knows. Yeah, sure, I'll tell anybody if I could do it all over again. From a personal standpoint, I would have chosen broadcast journalism and theater because I've seen so much evidence in my life of those natural gifts in that area. And I think back about that trajectory potentially, and I like that. But at the same time, God being sovereign, being all knowing, I'm thankful for the path that I've been on because
Yeah,
as you said, it's I can see the benefits though of having an engineering background. I can see the
right.
benefits. So
And also too, he also makes up for lost time.
yeah.
Look at Joe. Joe is starting his own company. I think he's, gosh, I don't know if he's 59, but he's late 50s, mid
Mhm.
50s. He's starting his own company. You know,
Yeah.
he makes up for lost time, and you know that's one thing that we get so hard on ourselves about is like we lost so much time, and we're getting a late start, but it's like when something happens and everything around you slows down, well, it's your brain speeding up.
Mm.
It's your body will speed up. Like I only got, so many hours in a day. And then sometimes when I get up early in the morning, I've got all these like little things I need to do. And I get them done. I look at the clock. It's only been about 10, 20 minutes because your body just like as time goes on and assuming you take good care of your health, you can the muscle memory just takes over and it just does things. And so subconsciously with our plans and our purpose, if we give it over to God and trust him with it, then that thing
Yeah.
can pour down into us and just kind of, we just
That's,
go.
that's so true. I think that's also related to giving it to God, and when we give it to God, something we may we pray about, whether it's audibly or just internally, but also one thing that helps it to just kind of be in our subconscious, and we both know this, but it's important, is writing those things down. And I think what's amazing about that for me is I've noticed a pattern in my life. When I write stuff down, even when I'm not thinking about it, I have these checkpoints and I can see the manifestation of it. I'm like, wow. So writing, there was power in writing it down,
Always,
and
always. Yep,
yeah. And
yep.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I remember when I was leading a small group at one point in time. I'm pretty sure I emphasized this, but if I didn't, then I tried to help people understand that there is always power in words, words that you think, words that you speak, and words that you write. Because what the within the Holy Bible, the one thing that's always said is, and the Word became flesh. You know, it's
Yeah.
that understanding that these again, words are not physical at all. You can't like I can say the word to you, I can think the word, but when you write it down, it becomes physical. But it's not. These are very intangible things that we are making tangible. So
Mhm.
that's why your words are very important. The words of life that you speak over your life. So yes, when you put it down on paper, something very powerful happens, and it kind of like draws itself into. Uh, I don't know if it's some type of thing that's been kind of passed down inside of us over the
Mhm.
years, but it is true. When you write it down, next thing you know, it becomes like really powerful.
And especially, I think, especially when you write it more so as a declaration or affirmation. So
Mm-hmm.
when you have clarity, because I
Yep.
think um, it's one thing to just kind of write down some ideas. It's another thing, and that's good too, but it's another thing when you get to the place where you're saying, okay, this is what I need to do in this season. This is how. And when you write down those things, there's something that's just happening in the spiritual realm when you've declared that. And so writing it
Right.
down, there's a connection apparently between maybe it's the visual and the mental, I don't know, and the
I don't
spiritual,
know.
but yeah, it
I
happens.
don't know. It does. It does. It's weird. It's weird stuff. But that's why we have comedy, man, to get through this life because every day is a fight.
Yeah, true that. It's been hard, man. Classroom has been really, really, really hard
Uh,
this year. I don't know if you talked to any teachers, but we've talked to
uh,
some from across just all over the nation, and there's just an extra in the classroom, like in terms of just like something we're an obstacle. It's psychological, but there's something that
this
we're
year more
pushing
than other
against.
years?
You say what?
This year
More,
more than other?
more than other years, and you
Huh.
interview a teacher this year. I mean, honestly, it doesn't
Actually,
matter
I
if
do
it's
know at least one teacher. Yeah.
if it doesn't matter. I don't think if it's public or private
Hmm.
this year. I think everybody, the consensus is it's been harder.
Hmm.
I know I've heard of more teachers this year having to seek therapy of some form than in previous years, which we know therapy and counseling can be healthy, but I mean seeking it out of a need, out of a
Right.
necessity to
Right.
cope. So yeah,
Right.
man, there's something going on.
Yeah. Hmm. That's well, that's not good.
No, it's not. It's not good for teachers and it's not good for students, because, one thing we have to do as teachers is we try to have an emotional capacity to be there for our students for things, for things outside of their educational needs, because they do come into school with baggage
Right.
and needing things. But if we're if we're so bogged down, we don't have that
Yeah.
capacity. A lot of these
Right.
students don't get it at home. Where are they going
Right.
to get it from?
Yeah.
So
And the bad part is that, you know, that's where their true education should always be at is at home. You know,
yeah,
y'all are the facilitators of the skills that the kids need to
right.
adapt to life and social environments and things like that. And but now y'all are more or less having to play parent too
Oh
to
yeah,
some very broken situations and also minister too.
yeah.
And so if you minister as well, then that turns into a very spiritual type of thing because then you start throwing that into the mix. And yeah, y'all don't get paid enough for that.
we're, we're definitely it's definitely some I'll just say pastoring and counseling. Uh, I'll say pastoring going on a lot of it because yeah, a lot of these kids they need to be covered. So we're covering them in prayers. A lot of them have emotional needs. They come and they come from a lot of brokenness and they need to vent to somebody. So we're the
Right.
counselor. Let alone, here's the thing, like you said, it's supposed to start at home, but when it doesn't, it's very hard for a kid to learn if they don't feel secure and they don't feel loved. So you have to you almost no, you have to meet that need while you're teaching. But the irony is, our system is really the educational system is not really set up like that
No.
to meet those needs. It's not set up for the broken child, which it's growing in numbers. those
Yeah.
that are coming into our doors that don't have needs, whose needs aren't met at home. So
As as your school year is ending, you know, for the I wouldn't say for the final time, but it's ending. Are you considering going to staying within education, or are you still going to go like full time with the business?
full time, but what we've realized is that it's more so full time in the business of education. We want to make sure that our presence, me and by me, my wife and I, we want to make sure our presence is still in school. So what we're
Yeah.
looking at doing is um working full time with our nonprofit and being on the ground level, man. Just
Yeah,
working with schools on the
because
yeah.
because that brokenness isn't going to change. It's going to grow exponentially. It's growing exponentially.
And
So
this year it's affected my wife more. Like she's always, been we've always been empathetic, to the students, but this year it's affected her emotionally so
mhm,
much more than in previous years. So she's at the place now where she just wants these kids to get what they need, and we know that's spiritual, that's
right.
emotional, that's what they need, and if we can get them there, they can have the capacity to learn. They're I mean, God made us all. They're brilliant. So they've got the ability, but we've got to meet those needs.
Yeah, and the other side of it is too is y'all should benefit and find a way to get some type of grant money or something like that on the nonprofit side to help with the the capital, the resources that you need
Yeah.
to fully be able to launch. And that gentleman, Mr. Larry Thornton, I sent you that stuff about him wanting to come back and put his book into the school system. That's a step. That's a
Well,
step in the right direction for Montgomery.
definitely.
Just helping people understand that your where you are in life is not where you are meant to stay. You can have so much more, so much. He is someone that is a true success story of going from a very segregated time frame to now. And you look at someone like Les Brown, Dr. Ben Carson. Um, you look at anyone that's been through any type of adversity whatsoever. Most of them would say that nobody gave me anything, and I went out and I got it on my own. And so they're gonna have empathy for people that are in certain places of their life, but also too they're gonna have that like, well, go out and do it. You live in America. This is the greatest country in the world. You're not the barriers of entry are not as hard as they used to be.
All right.
Don't limit your potential and your ability. Don't You're putting those limiters on yourself.
Right.
Because we do take for granted the freedoms that this country has given us.
We definitely do. And it's because I think it's because of the convenience and the luxury. It's because it comes so easy that it's easy for us to take for granted all of our liberties. The fact
Yeah,
that we can get up every morning,
yeah,
go to work as we please, go
right,
to the gym, go
right.
eat, all these different things. Uh,
Vote,
it's kind of like we're being lulled to sleep in terms of urgency, in
yeah,
terms of purpose, and
right,
doing the things that really we're here on earth for. And it's
yeah,
because things come so easy for us, in
yeah.
terms of, yeah, that.
You're right. You're right. And you know, I'm glad you're going to be having some type of presence still, even after the fact. Because I want your business to do really well. I want it to do really, really well.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome, man.
Well, man, I will say this about my Saturday. Don't know if you know about the chili cook-off, man. We went Ashley and I went to the chili cook-off downtown last year.
Uh-huh.
So we're going again today, man. It was so good last year.
Was it at the Biscuits Stadium?
Yep, at the Visca Stadium. We loved it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this year we invited a few more. We're bringing Ashley's mom and her
There you
brother.
go. There you go. Oh, that's good, man. Because I believe years ago, our bank participated, and I don't think we participated in that in years, but I think a lot of different companies and stuff participate in that cook-off. Is it been put on by the Lions Club or something like that? I can't remember.
I I think so. It's somebody like that. But yeah, like to your point, yeah, it's pretty much just a bunch of companies cooking. Yeah, yeah. And I just trust all their chili because they're in the chili cook-off. It's if they're
It's
in the
pilot
chili cook-off, I'm sure their cooking etiquette and
proper.
everything.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
was
they
about to
follow.
say. I hope so.
I'm sure everything is to the T, man. I'm sure they
that
would get
they,
a
I'm sure.
99 score.
As much as a germaphobe as you are, that's the thing right there. You are stepping out in faith, my
That
friend.
biscuit stadium just cleanses everything as you cross over
Yeah,
the threshold.
right.
So
As soon as you walk across, it's all
yep,
clean,
it's good.
all
It's
clear.
good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Whew. Well, you're gonna have some fun. That's for sure, man. That's great.
Yeah, man. No doubt. Yeah, man. We had a lot of fun. It was just Ash and I last year, and we had some chili that we had never had before. Like I mean, I didn't know chili with cornbread was a thing. I'm used to I'm used to
Chili
crackers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
crackers. Yeah.
they were doing all
Mm.
kind of stuff with it. So yeah, see
Well,
what.
now that I'm hungry, I think I'm gonna need to go. So,
All right, cool deal, man. It's been
episode
fun.
20.
Till 20. We're here.
Yeah, we did
Hello world.
it.
All right, bro. Love you,
All right.
man.
Love you, bro.
Pound.
Down.
All right. Peace.
Bye.